What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson here. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We have, good Lord, we have two great guests, and they're both from the East Coast. The East Coastness of this episode might cause my head to explode, but we're going to make it through it. So first of all, the junior grandmaster himself is in the co-pilot seat. He is not an East Coaster. He is West Coast through and through, a Californian born and bred for 150 years or something like that. Gregg, what's up today?
If I wasn't having a complex about being old, Matt, you surely cemented that, sufficiently today. Yeah, about 150 years old and shit. But no, dude, it's gonna be awesome. We have the battle of the balds. We have Gene, we have Aaron. These guys are just legends in their own fields. We asked prior to going on the air what was the best way to properly shine your bald head, and Gene popped up and goes, canola oil. Or
no, not canola oil.
What kind of oil?
Coconut.
Coconut oil. How could I have been so wrong?
You gotta keep it all natural. Canola oil is very bad, very harmful for the it's got a lot of pesticides in there. Gotta go with coconut. All right, and then we've got Aaron Wittenstein on with us as well. So Gene, let's get started with you. We just had you on the show here back on Monday. You're going to join us here for the opening minutes of the show. So I want to start with you. So Gene, give everybody a quick idea of who you are in case they've missed your last couple episodes.
Gene Volpe, GVI Media. We get people exposed. Social media management, website design, you name it.
Perfect. Yeah, as you guys know, I hired Gene. He is helping me launch and do some really cool stuff on my side. Also, Gene is going to, guys, all those of you that are here or watch us on the recording, Gene is going to be joining us every Friday. And he's going to pop in the beginning part of the show. He's going to give a tech tip, a marketing tip, something that's happening right now today that you can be actionable, items that you can put into your business. And then we're going to get on with the regular part of the show and let him get back to crushing it for his clients, aka moi, on those social media sides. So Gene, the new asset and addition to our show, welcome Pimp Playboy Gene Volpe.
Yo, listen, I am so excited. I really am actually excited. I was going to say something smart there, but no, this is going to be fun. I'm going to be on the move sometimes, I think. You never know where you're going to find me, in the doctor's office, at church. We'll do the episode from anywhere on the East Coast. So it's going to be great. It's going to be fun.
Good. Awesome. So what you got for us, homeboy?
So today we're going to talk real quick. Gregg, you and I were just messing around with this new Facebook stories /day stuff, right? So if you go into your Facebook Messenger, you are going to see new stuff that looks a lot like Instagram, that looks a lot like Snapchat. There's a reason for it. Here's what I'm going to say to you today. This is your actionable tip and item. This is going to be a phenomenal way to stay in touch with your clients. And so, Gregg, one of the things we just talked about real quick is, everybody loves video text messaging. Well, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people love video text messaging. It's a little more personal and more direct than, say, an email, right? So if I want to keep up with my clients, you may get a quick video from me. The challenge with video texting is that if I have an iPhone and you have a Samsung, there might be a little problem with the way the video comes through. I had a client call me and say, "Why is your head so fat?" And I said, "Well, that's a personal question. I don't appreciate that, but anyway, the camera was all skewed. She had a different platform than I did. So it doesn't look great all the time. There's problems. With Facebook Messenger /stories, everybody's got Facebook. If you don't, you're probably not talking to them from a client perspective anyway, right? At least I'm not in a media perspective or in the media center. But use that. Try it. I've actually had people call me saying, how did you do that? That was awesome. I would love to communicate with my clients like that. It's quick. There's no response needed on their side. They're seeing your face in a lot of cases. With like Matt Johnson, that's a good thing. McDaniel, not so much. But there are people that like to look at you. No, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you, bro. Listen.
Yes, there you go. I'm going unite.
Look at this. It's me without a beard.
I think you're the handsomest dude on this show besides me. I'm not going to lie to you.
We're cutting it close right here, man. Screw the good-looking guys down there. We really look this. Hold on, wait a second. We really look the same right now, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Scary.
It is scary.
I'm frightened for my life right now.
It is scary. But anyway, Facebook stories /day /messenger. Dig it up on your phone, look into it, test it with a friend, see what eventually there's going to be advertising coming to it. I don't think it's available yet, but it'll be there. So you're going to be able to spend advertising dollars. It's pretty interesting. It's a dynamic phone book for you right now. It's a video phone book for you. So jump in, use it, see what people say about it.
Cool.
That is awesome. Gene,
Interesting.
we're going to do a question before we let Gene go, aren't we, Matt?
Let's see. Do we want to take we've got a couple of questions on expires that I want to bring to Aaron. Let's go with the question here from a little person called Aaron Lichtenstein, something like that. Anyway, what's the one CRM? No, what is the best piece of advice you give to others that you should really follow yourself? That's a great question, Aaron. I don't know where you came up with that, but I think we should riff on that for a second. Let's start with you, Aaron. This obviously came from somewhere. You posted the question. So what is the one piece of advice that you give out that you should be following yourself? But before I jump in and start giving your answer for you.
Your advice? So, there are certain things that hold people back from doing things. And for me, I always say it's, there's something you're fearful of. So I try and tell people, like, what are you scared of? What is your fear? And people, usually it's like fear of success. It's fear of failure. There's something, and I know it's corny, but as we know, fear is not real. Okay. Fear is not real. Fear is, what do they say? Fake evidence acting real. Is that false evidence acting real, right?
False evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
Appearing real. That's what it is. So the one thing is that, I tell people not to be fearful of things, yet there are things that fear me. The fear, people say, like, I don't get the fear of success. I don't understand that one. But for me, it's the fear of failure. And one of the biggest fears that I have is that with what I've done, I have basically told everybody what my plan is for the next 5 years. And, I've basically told people $100 million producing team within 5 years, building, speaking in front of 100,000 people. I have put myself up there, and I am scared and fearful of not attaining those and people thinking I'm a fake. And I think, something like that was something I did a lot of searching for. So it's telling people to stop being scared of things when I need to listen to it myself. That's where that came from.
So that's your first thing. That's a good tidbit. But I think Brian, one of our listeners, who's a future agent, his first lesson or nugget of goodness he's taken away from our show is immediately go out and shave your head. And I'm like, Matt, I'm not sure if Matt and I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Greg,
scared.
I think it'd be great, Greg, if you went and shaved.
Dude, I went bald in high school. I shaved my head for basketball. I'm an ugly motherfucker when I have a shaved head. I got bumps and shit. Dude, it's not pretty. I mean, I just look like a retard walking. I look like Sloth, like from the Goonies.
Wow. All right, Gene, let's go to you. So what's the one piece of advice that you give? I would be curious what advice you give to clients that you go, I should really start doing that.
Huh. You changed the script on me. I was going to say something else, but I would say one for me is based around video. And what I always tell people is get over yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Most people that want to start video know they need to do it. They know how effective it is, but they're afraid to get in front of the camera. And ultimately they always say to me, well, not in our case, right, Aaron, but they'll say, I need to make sure my hair is right or my makeup's whacked. Or listen, the things that are crazy about you is what people find endearing. So your stutter, the fact that your hair is always a little bit out of place, my smile is actually crooked. You can't see it from here, but I'm missing a tooth over here. And in pictures, you can actually see my jaw is whacked. I'm very conscious of that. But the reality of it is I've never gotten a phone call and somebody said, I can't believe you did that video, dude. Your smile is crooked, right? That's not going to happen. Get out of your own way. Drop that. Fear is a good word, I guess, of getting in front of the camera. Your confidence will grow the more you do it. So get out in front of it. Do it. People aren't as critical as you are of yourself. That would be my thing. But I still suffer from that a little bit. I hate, hats and things the way they look. So I'm still in that mode, but get out of your own way.
Okay.
No,
you start buying that?
No, I think it's good though. I think like you and I talked about when you were on the show a while back, the fact that people do take themselves way too seriously to the point where they're so self-critical that they get frozen in fear. Therefore, they don't move forward. Therefore, it's justified to them that it didn't work. Why are you laughing so hard, Matt?
Paul Franklin might have the comment of the century. He says, I bet if we took a stick with a magnet on it, we could move Gene's beard to his head.
So listen. All right, ready? I'm gonna suppress the East Coast real quick, right?
Murderous rage.
I'm gonna suppress the East Coast. I had a little girl come up to me one time and say, "You look different than the last time I saw you." And I said, "What do you think it is?" And she said, "Because I think the hair you had up here fell to the bottom of your face." So, listen, it is what it is, man. You know.
And so you slapped the little girl and moved on. I got you.
No, never.
All right. Oh my God, that's funny. All right, Greg, same question to you. What's the one piece of advice you give out to everybody on the show or on the McDaniel Challenge or whatever that you should probably turn around and take yourself?
Sticking to your morning meditation routine. Sometimes things you start working so well that you stop doing them. Like I didn't do my energy clearing and meditation yesterday. I felt like crap, and I still feel like crap. But I got up this morning, and I did my meditation. Instantly, I started having good things come to me. I would say stick to what works and stop stopping yourself and stop stopping the things that really do well for you, because everything became so easy. You're like, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. I can just go do this. It's prospecting, follow up. You guys, yesterday I fucking hate follow up. But all of these are all leads that I haven't talked to since 2015. And I started following up with them.
That was over a year ago.
Yeah, Matt, there's a 7 behind our number now. There's a 5. There's a 2.
Yeah, but I'm confused. I don't. What do you mean you haven't talked to them since 2015?
They've been sitting right there in a stack. I'm like, God, I hate this freaking stack of leads. I got to do something with them. I went through them. I found 5 solid leads in there that are going to be doing something that I'm going to be following up with, all in the multi-million-dollar range. So what I would say is, do the things that you know you need to do and stop stopping yourself. So do your meditation, do your dream and goal review every single morning. If shit starts going really easy for you, don't stop. There's a reason why why it is easy, because you put your mind, your subconscious mind, towards your future being, your future self. I'm reading a book called As a Man Thinketh. Dude, it's like kicking me straight in the taint. Like I know exactly what has been stopping me. That's like, taint.
Wow.
But you know
what? Wildly specific area to be kicked in.
Well, it taints your butt and it taints your nuts. Where is it?
All right.
Yeah, but hold on, let me finish. So the book, the book, talks about where your mind is where your body goes. Your body will follow your mind. So if you spend time, really concentrating on your future, you're going to go there. But if you concentrate on negative things, you're going to go to the negative side of life. So that's where I'm spending my time.
I have a question.
Oh God.
When your mind goes, what part of your body does it go to?
It goes, oh God.
All right.
And we've reverted to 15, and I love it.
Oh my God. All right. So in the time that you guys were rambling on and I wasn't really paying attention, I've had some time to think about what mine is.
Matt, what's yours?
There's a couple of them. I would say, so mine has to do with staff, and there's 2 things. Number 1 is follow the checklist. So I'm really good at developing checklists, but oh my God, if I have to actually do it and go by the checklist that I write and like I actually have to execute this, like that's not what I want to do. That I'm very bad at that. The other part is on hiring, which is the whole, like, and I've learned this from Frank at Viral. He said it a million times. Every time I watch him violate it, I get on him for it. I get on myself for it, and then I freaking do it again. I have to get rid of somebody on my staff who's underperforming. Here's the problem. I did not do the I do it, we do it, and then you do it, right? Mm-hmm. I gave it to somebody to train that person, and they were not effectively trained and managed, and we're not getting the outcomes that we want because I violated the I do it, we do it, you do it. I let somebody else do the training. I let somebody else do the accountability, and the problems with that staff person not being able to keep up kind of bubbled up to me later than they should have versus if I was meeting with them every single week. So in other words, I didn't go through the perceived pain of meeting with that person one-on-one every single week to go over their goals, go over their progress, go over what, any questions that they have, all this stuff, and get a sense of like, are they really keeping up and are they really executing on what we're asking them to do? And as a result, now I have to deal with that. So I've made my own bed and I have to lie in it. That's probably the biggest piece of advice that I give out or that I get on other people about is trying to skip those steps with people that you hire and like throwing them into the fire too quickly without you going through the pain of training them. And I just violated it myself.
No more violating. Nobody likes being violated.
No.
Hey guys, all the viewers, we got a shit ton of you guys watching right now. So awesome to have you guys on. Hey, I want you guys to do a favor for us. Spread it like wildfire. If you guys like what we're going to talk about, like what we have talked about, spread it out to your different groups, your pages, anything else. Help us get the word out about the show,
Share
guys.
the video right now. If you're watching on mobile, bottom left-hand corner, that share button right there, share it. You can write something nice on it, or you can just share it just by hitting that button. So let's get into a little bit. And Gene, you can, do you want to get into video, Greg, a little bit?
Yeah,
here before we move into mindset. Okay.
Yeah.
So Greg, what were your thoughts on video? Because you have this whole list of like 7,937 and a half ways to use video in your business.
And a half. Just because I don't like the full video.
Get to Jeffrey Gitomer list.
12 and a half, 12.5. Yeah. Amy B, guys, that was on the show on Wednesday. She and I did a great job. You can go to amyb.com/REU. You can download this list of 75 ways to use video. I want to riff with you guys really quickly. We'll go around the table here and get ideas, but there are so many different ways you can use video. Most of the time, everybody that uses video thinks, well, I just got to show a house, or I just got to talk about real estate. No, there are so many different things. Guys, we have video text messages. We have video messenger in Facebook. We have Facebook Live. We have Instagram Live. We have Periscope Live. We have YouTube Live. We have normal video. You have everything you can, any possible way you can communicate on video, you can. And in communication, you guys all know that, 55% of your communication is your body language. So if they can see you and start bonding with you, that's going to be a massive feather in your cap. You're also showing that you're technologically savvy and above other agents, and you get back to people quickly. Because if they like kind of how you move, they can, maybe I'm bald too, and I see Aaron pop up, I'm like, oh, a fellow baldy, oh, we can talk oils.
That's right. The merits of canola versus coconut.
Exactly. But I mean, so one of the things that I'm going to start doing is I try to send happy birthdays to people on Messenger for their birthday. Like, hey, Matt, happy birthday, man. I hope your 3 obese little babies don't kill you guys when they roll over and snuggle with you at night. All right, much love to the fam. Later. Everyone's watching. Matt does not have 3 obese babies, by the way.
No.
But
I do. That's great, Aaron.
But I mean, so I want you to go around. Aaron, let's start with you on video. What is a way that you would use video that's a little bit out of the box?
Well, I would hope. Sorry, I just knocked my camera. Is that I'm doing it tomorrow? Basically to get in front of agents. Sorry, and just for doing the Facebook Live with the other agents, except when I'm put in Facebook jail. I'm doing that, and I'm starting. Sorry, guys, my webcam just got all messed up there. I'm starting to utilize the video a lot more to build my brand here as a real estate agent. So what I'm going to be doing is on a weekly basis, I'm going to be doing 4 videos. 1, I'm using my borrower video. 2, I'm going to be doing a tour of a house locally in White Plains. That's where my market is. And then 2 other informational basic videos. We're going to spend about $250 to boost those so I can build my brand. So what I'm using it as a brand building tool, is pretty much, what I'm using it for, so that I want to walk into someone's house and they've seen me so much that I don't know. Do you guys have Empire Carpet out by you guys?
No.
Anybody? All right. It's the Empire Carpet guy. I think from Chicago. Everybody knows the Empire Carpet guy. All right. Everybody knows who he is. The Empire Carpet guy charges more than anybody else. But people call Empire because they've seen him on TV so much. I want to be the person when they walk in, they're like, oh, it's Aaron. What I'm using it for is I'm like, hey, just remember, it's not coincidental that Wittenstein and Westchester both have 11 letters and start with the W, and guess what? So does White Plains. So that's what I'm using video for.
Nice. I like that. That's about kind of like one of the ideas that I've been talking about forever. 4 different videos you can shoot. I actually do it at $140 budget for the people who can't afford the $250, big baller. But I like the bigger spend. But I do 1 video with a mayor or a police chief or someone of influence in the area talking about how cool the area is, what's changing. Number 2 is a principal of a school. Why should people go to this school? Number 3 is a local business. Go taste the local pizzeria place, then tasting it, chasing it with a beer, talking about how cool the place is. And number 4 is a client wants and needs video talking about your listings and your buyers' wants and needs. That's not going to be evergreen content, but it is relevant content. Pushing out for $5 a day for 5 days, for 7 days, which is $35. Changing those videos every single week. $140 total spend. It'll keep you in the people's eye consistently with new data. So you're a man around town or woman around town, and you're talking with the movers and shakers, so you're connected. And if you need to get a pizzeria or some sort of other local business advice, you can go to that, and you can also rerun that content if you ever have a slow day. So I love what you're doing.
How long are the videos you're doing?
7 days. Each video is 7 days.
How long is the actual video itself?
It depends. It's going to really vary, depending on the interview and everything else. I mean, for live videos, if you're going to shoot them live, then you absolutely need to shoot them longer. But I mean, we talked about with Amy B that if it's pre-recorded, it needs to be less than 2 minutes or 2 minutes max. If it's going to be live, it needs to be 5 to 15 minutes. And I'm a big fan of the live side because you can get more content and go deeper on the stuff, answer real live questions. So on the replay, on the ad, it's more down to earth. It's not produced. You know what I'm saying? So, Gene, what about you, man?
I got nothing.
Bullshit.
Nothing. Nah, I can't. So one of the things, first of all, what Aaron said was pure brilliance. That was gold.
Mm-hmm.
For him to be in front of the camera 4 times a week does more for his organic reach than anything else, right? So just by accident, he's going to gather more followers, more friends, more viewers. That's huge because having your name brand out there just without having to try is a big deal, right? So one of the things that we're doing outside of the box a little bit in our area is if you think about the way that marketing and technology and the web is changing things, there's not going to be much of a need for television anymore. So think about your Super Bowl ads. The Super Bowl ads are $5-6 million for every 30 seconds. As people start watching the Super Bowl online, on their Twitter feeds, on YouTube, as they start to turn their cable off and watch it online, those ads are going to get cheaper because there's less eyeballs involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you need to do is attract the eyeballs to you. So one of the ways we're doing that is by – and this is really, really good for real estate because real estate is a hard thing to sell to people 4 times a week. Hey, look at me, mortgage rates. I have an open house, active listings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bored to death, right? Like I want to rip my eyeballs out of my face.
Hair out of your head.
The hair out of my head. Well, there you go. I've been working with real estate agents for a long time. There's evidence. So what we try to do is how do we capture somebody's attention and make those eyeballs valuable? And one of the things we're doing in our area is we figured out that most people don't really care about a specific service need unless they need it right then, but they do care about the neighborhoods they live in.
Mm-hmm.
And their kids go to school. So what we've done is we create these little television networks or channels called the Best Of. So the Best of White Plains, right? I'm going right up your alley here, Aaron. The Best of White Plains. Aaron becomes the exclusive X in his market, and then he takes it out and does what Gregg's doing, which is interviews people, creates shows, does different things. And what happens all the while is when people start to see the best of my neighborhood, they like that page, and now you have their attention. So if you're consistently doing video shows and you're selling advertisements in between those video shows to local restaurants, local golf courses, local entertainment places, people are going to come. And when I'm standing there and people are edifying me as the best of White Plains in marketing, then what happens subconsciously to my brand? I become the best of. I'm on the page. It must be me. So we're capturing eyeballs, placing them regularly in a spot where people care to look like the best of their own home neighborhood. And then we're basically exploiting that. And you can do your advertising. We did one in Tri-Cities, Tennessee. There's only one Tennessee, guys, in case you didn't know that. Tri-Cities, Tennessee. And
there is a middle valley. There is like a middle Tennessee state. So I assumed we have some state called Middle Tennessee. I don't know.
Are you watching the NCAA tournament on the side there? Is that what you keep turning your head to? Because that's what I'm doing. That's what's going on here.
I wish I had a passion for college basketball. I wish.
But what happened, just to finish that thought, because it was a place that people lived and it was a pretty burgeoning city and all this stuff, within 3 months, we had 5,500 people that liked that page. That's a lot of eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's incredible. So find a niche, exploit the niche with your video. You got to make it entertaining. It's got to be entertaining and informative, right? But other than that, be there all the time. 4 times a week is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that, Gene. I mean, that Gene, posed this, thought to me the other day, and I instantly fell in love with this thought. I mean, we are going to do 4 different shows here in the Bay Area. I already have a couple of people that are going to be hosting them, but I'm going to be the go-to guy, the best of brand face in the Bay Area. And it's going to explode, and you just spend a little bit of money because people act off of emotion. I've talked to a lot of real estate agents, and I'm like, what are you guys doing for video? Like, we're posting updates on our market. Oh, it's fucking boring, dude. You know what? Go post something that's an emotional reaction for them. All right? Something's going to get their heartstrings that they're going to want to talk about. That's going to get you word of mouth. And I think, Gene, by the way, we got to talk offline about that because I've made some developments and I want to get this bad boy up and running ASAP. It's going to blow up.
Love it.
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron, and this kind of translates into the next conversation that I wanted to, the part of it that I wanted to get into, which is kind of the pivot, Aaron, that you're having to go through because expireds are, they're just not enough of them for you to call. They're getting saturated. You're already calling all the old expireds. Like that's been a part of your business plan for those that don't know that. So you have a list of all the old expireds and you're calling them and stuff, but you're having to get into some other things to compensate for the fact that there's not enough new expireds hitting the market right now. So share with us a little bit about what's going on and how you're having to pivot your business.
Yeah, so pretty much like I love expireds. Expireds is my thing. I will never stop doing expireds. So the first thing I do when I come in the morning right now is I call the brand new expireds. That's the first thing I do. But the only issue is I'm lucky if I get 5 a day. What are you smirking at there?
That's Andy is commenting. Pivot. I literally just watched that episode of Friends here a couple of days ago. I love that.
Oh, I hate Friends.
Yeah.
The song gets stuck in my head.
You too.
The song gets stuck in my head. So, okay. So what I've been doing now, and then I was doing my follow-up. But what happened is that I got so bogged down with follow-up. I have a company that I'm utilizing that I call now. What I'm doing is I'm calling the brand new expireds. Then I do my follow-up for the week. Then I shift the rest of my follow-up over to somebody else. And I have an ISA company in Nicaragua working the old expireds. So what I've had to do now is that the next 2 logical places for me to go are for sale by owners and database. So those are the 2 things that I've really, really been hitting hard. For sale by owners in the last 2 weeks, I've taken 2 for sale by owner listings. So, I mean, I'm working on a new program based upon that. I'm not used to doing it. Honestly, I've never been a huge fan of for sale by owners. Yet the thing is that there's so much money to be made there because they all list. Like 90% of them list. So what I did was I came from like a place of pain. I went through a year's worth of expireds. I had Priscilla scrub the list and say, out of these, how many listed with agents and how many sold? Like 60% of the list, 6 out of 10 that we looked at were sold by another real estate agent.
Expires, or you said expires, but do you mean?
I'm sorry, I meant for sale by owners. For sale by owners.
So you went back through the list of for sale by owners.
I'm looking at it here, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm not calling for sale by owners because I'm uncomfortable doing it, yet 60% of them are being sold by other real estate agents. I'm leaving so much money on the table. So I'm starting to highly focus in on that. So instead of doing old expireds, I'm hitting up FSBOs. It's a sprint rather than a marathon. And then I'm also starting to work a lot more with my database. You know, I've been working with Frank over at Viral. You guys saw an interview I did with him the other day. I'm starting to do a lot of video. It was funny. I started just chatting with I added all my people on Facebook. I added all my past clients on Facebook. Boom. Within the span, I'm not even saying within 48 hours, 2 referrals from my past clients. So those are the 2 things that I'm really starting to utilize. Expireds will always be a cornerstone of my business. But if Andy's listening right now, you need 7 streams of lead generation coming in. I'm also in a BNI business networking group that I'm starting to really, really focus in on. So I'm trying to figure out what my 7 streams are, and I'm starting to add more people to the team to be able to leverage myself out so I can go where the money is. And right now, FSBOs and there's only so much time you have in the day. So it's hiring more people, leveraging the shit out that you can't do, and focusing on the money-making activities. So I got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, you do.
You sound boring.
Oh, not.
I mean, just bonbons on the couch is what you are. My goodness.
Oh my God. Yeah.
No, I think one of the things that I really took away from what you just said, Aaron, is the fact that the book, Who Moved My Cheese, is something that you're applying right now. If you guys have never read that book, it's about this big. You got to go read it. Actually, I think I have it here. It's all talking about, when your cheese dries up in one place, then you got to pivot and move over to another place where the cheese is going to be. And Aaron, you took the initiative and you noticed that. You didn't sit there and wait and shrivel down and die, wonder what's wrong with your business. You're like, fuck this, I'm going over here now because this is where the money is. And a lot of people get so comfortable in their current situation. So I've talked about this before. There's 3 different areas you live in life. Your comfort zone, which is not where you grow or anything else. This is where you're going to get fat and happy. Your stress zone and your stretch zone. Your stress zone is when you make that move. Like Aaron, you made that move. You made that move to Fizbos, and you're like, ugh, I'm good at expires, but these Fizbo things, right? Well, you're going to go to a stress area when you don't know what you're doing, but then you're going to migrate nicely into your stretch zone, and that's where you need to live. Constantly a little bit uncomfortable, but always moving forward. People, you guys need to understand that. I mean, shit, I was doing these follow-ups. I didn't want to do them. I thought they were going to tell me to go F off, but no one did. They're all very nice, or they already bought and sold something. So always be growing more.
Once you start realizing that stuff is not going according to plan, it usually is because things are changing. I mean, I've been doing this 16 years now. You know, like when Craigslist was first, I'm like, oh my God, Craigslist, that's the best way to go. The moment, like the reason that I realized that this stuff was dropping with expireds is I'm getting 3 a day, and they're saying I see 10 people in my office calling. What's really cool about it is it's going to dry up and people are going to quit because they don't think it's going to be working anymore. And boom, I'm right there to pick it back up when everybody else drops off. So you have to be cognizant on what's going on. You have to look at the trends. You have to see what you're looking at, which means you need to be looking at your business and looking at the market and seeing what you're doing. You need to figure out a way to be ahead of the curve. And the only way to do that is to be paying attention.
Yeah, you need to.
You don't pay attention.
Yeah, so Christopher Lockhead is watching right now. Christopher, what up, pimp? We had him on the show a little while back, and he wrote a book called Play Bigger. Amazingly awesome book. I just got done reading it. It will teach you how to change and morph and how to become a master of your industry. There's so much content in there, guys. Get the audio version, but get the hard copy and highlight shit. I mean, I'm not kidding you. It's a very dense book with knowledge. And then if you want to be able to identify problems in your business right now, go to jsammet.com and you'll be able to download his 40-page workbook where he will help walk you through how to disrupt your life and how to find things in areas that you may not even know that are a problem and how to identify them and then dive deep into them. But the first thing you do is do every single day, which I'm going to do again, Matt, because I think it's really powerful for the show. And
I need to get back to that practice too.
Is writing down 3 things every day that irritate you. Just 3 things that irritate you every single day. Matt and I first did this, and we're like, we love our lives. We're perfect. Nothing pisses us off. And then we're like, oh, we are so full of shit. Okay, let's write some shit down. And so we did, and we came up with a really good idea because then you start trying to zombieify those 3 different things. Kill them off. If you can kill these things off with product ideas that are already out there or someone already has or whatever else, kill it off. But I guarantee you, if you do that for 30 days, there is a $100 million or $1 billion idea right up in here from your daily environment, and it could be put right back into your real estate business.
And then, what I was going to say is one thing that I kind of piggyback on what you said. My coach, Andy Shearer, if you guys need a real estate coach, you definitely need to talk to him. Private message me. I will tell you, we sat down. The guy actually drove 3 hours to come see me. So now what I do on a daily basis is I pick 3 to 5 things that move the needle in my business or move the needle in my personal life. These are the things that it's not getting on the phone. Getting on the phone is habitual. That's what I do. That is what I do. Saying goodnight to my wife, that is something that I do. It's something that actually moves the needle to make it different. That's saying I need today to get out there and I need to place an ad for a buyer specialist. That's moving the needle. I need to go send my wife flowers because that's moving the needle. Because I'm growing 3 different businesses. I'm trying to keep my wife happy. I'm trying to keep my kids happy. And you have to break it down because the thing is where I'm like everybody else. I want all or nothing. Okay. And I always live in that place where I never feel like I'm doing enough. So if you, like I said, Andy, we sat down, this was a big boom moment for me. It's like, okay, so you've got to break it down into 3 to 5 things per day that moves the needle. No matter what happens, you complete those. You know that you've at least done something to put yourself in a better spot than you were when you woke up in the morning. And that's the one thing. And I've been trying to do it. I'm trying to get used to it. So now I'm Facebook messaging him every day. That's my coach, Andy Shearer. Facebook messaging every single day to do it because it's you get fat and happy, like Gregg said. And when you get fat and happy and you're not moving that needle, you're just going to be in the same place over and over again.
Yeah. Yes, it's interesting that you say that, because I've been working on that with Pasquale, who's been on the show with us before. But one thing, he put out a series called The 6 Suppressed Elements of Daily Success. It's some of the most amazing stuff I've ever heard. And he talks about what it is, like just those key things that you do in the morning and a few key things that you do at night, completely outside of what you do for work, just the things that you do in life. The stuff that comes down to us from like Pythagoras. I mean, this stuff is like 2,500 years old that we've just kind of swept away and ignored. But he talks about having that definite purpose. So Aaron, for you, that's you find those limiting factors and you push them back, right? So, and that's something that I'm trying to get better at too, is like having my weekly mission, like what is my mission, the overarching mission for that week, and then every day having something that either ties into that overall mission or one of my other objectives. That's my definite mission for that day, is to get that thing done, because it's got to move the needle forward, right? I'm curious, Gene, let's go to you real quick. How are you, you mentioned that you've had to kind of pivot your business too. Like you started off specializing in real estate, and now you're branching out and you actually changed the name of your business and all this stuff to kind of expand your appeal. But what does your lead generation look like, and how have you had to kind of shift that?
You know, most of my lead generation is a lot like real estate, and that's a lot of referral, word of mouth. I have, since we've been doing the show, I've had 5 or 6 calls directly related to this. I mean, getting exposure is a big thing. Getting out in front of people is a big thing. I've had to make myself more available from a teaching perspective. So like, I think a lot of people in my business feel like they're worth a lot of money. And so when you stand up in front of people, there's like, hey, you charge me $3,000, I'll come out and do X, Y, and Z. Whereas what I typically do is I offer all of my stuff for free in hopes that somewhere down the road, somebody's going to say to me, hey man, that was great stuff. And now I realize that I want to do what you said and I need help with it. So I'm hoping that you could step in and be that guy for me. So for me, it's been being out there more often. I think content for me is huge. So these things that we're doing, this is gold for me. I mean, I'll do this with you guys every day when I can, because I can splice this up into little nuggets that I'm delivering to people all the time. And if one captures their attention, they're telling 3 of their friends, and I'm getting phone calls to help with a salon somewhere. So right. I don't necessarily know that it was a pivot per se for this. This was more of like opening the spigot a little wider. So I had, where I was focused specifically on real estate agents and brokerages before. Now I'm just saying, hey guys, I'm there for everybody. So if you know anybody that needs a marketing help or marketing assistance, that's what I do. And so I target, even though like I do these shows and I do a lot of presentations to offices and association of realtors, I now am letting everybody know, by the way, I'm more vocal about it. I don't just do real estate. I can help your brother if he's a plumber, that type of stuff. So I think it was more of an expansion than it was a pivot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And then Aaron, that's what we were doing with yours too. I mean, you're expanding the number and the types of leads that you're bringing in. So you're super comfortable with expireds, but now you're branching off into other forms of leads, and it's all obviously within your wheelhouse. It's all sales, but there are different types of leads. You're kind of expanding the spigot into your business.
Exactly. And I mean, I think the one thing that the word that I use, this is a word that I never quite understood before, and I thought it was overused. It's called being intentional. Okay.
Yeah.
I always hated that word for some reason, but now the more that I actually, it's being intentional with what we have, because there's only so much time in the day. We have a certain amount of hours. That's it. So we have to be intentional with the time that we use it, which basically means you figure out what you got to do. You get done that moves that thing. And, that word for some reason just resonated with me so much because, Gene, Matt, Greg, how much time? We all got the same amount of freaking time in the day, don't we? That's it. Mm-hmm. And it's just making sure that we utilize it to our best. And I think that's where most people fail.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Greg, do you how do you set about like determining what your intention is for that day? Is that something you think about in your meditation session in the morning, or are you thinking about it the night before? Like, how do you decide, like, what is that one thing I want to do today?
I never stop thinking about my intentions. I mean, I am
not intentions. Don't pluralize it. Intention. It's very different.
I am constantly, never ceasing to think about how to become a better version of me, how to work myself out of a job, how to get more lead gen for my team, basically how to become better at everything that I'm doing. So I'm multifaceted. I'm in the shower, I'm thinking about it. I'm going to sleep, I'm thinking about it. If I'm, driving down the road, I'm thinking about it. I'm listening to audiobooks all the time, and all of a sudden I realize I can't remember what the hell just happened in the books. My mind's drifting on how I can life hack this different part of my life, because I fucking hate the fact that there's a guy in our company that did 221 deals last year. I want 221 deals. So what is it going to take to do that? Right. And I am laser focused on becoming the best version of me with the best version of the team. I mean, that's what I'm just day in and day out looking for.
Greg,
yeah, go ahead.
I just had I know I have a question, because I don't understand meditation. I don't get it. And I think a lot of people, when they think of meditation, it's you sitting there with your legs crossed like this going, you know what I mean? Like, what does that look like?
Hey, before I'll explain it. Gene, peace out, Ninja. I know you got to roll, homie. Good having you, brother. We'll get you back next Friday.
Looking forward to it again.
All right.
Yeah. Later, bro. So what does meditation look like? That's your question?
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. And you know what I mean? And I don't get it.
Right. Neither did I. But I was at a point where I needed to release some stress that was weighing on my shoulders so heavy it felt like the world was sitting on me. And so I went out and I went to YouTube, how to meditate. And I found a guy named, what's his name?
Brad Yates.
Brad Yates, and I do meridian tapping with him. And he leads you through the meridian tapping. You tap on different points on your face, chest, and on underarm, and the top of your head, and you repeat certain things. Now, it sounds like there's a bunch of crystals and incense burning and, light music playing in the background, and some shaman's going to come gracefully passing me. No. If you're going to feel stupid the first time you do it, I'm not going to lie to you, but I can tell you one thing, that this releases negative energy out of me, and I can't explain it, but when I do this thing, the things I tap about just explode into my life. Like I do having an amazing day, a client magnet, and to allow love into my life. It's very hard for me to allow love. I can give love, but it's very hard for me to receive love. So I'm working that through, and I'm starting to see things change in my own personal life and in my professional life. Meditation is to basically clear your mind. Your mind is a cluttered area, and there's so much going on up in there. Go through a mindful meditation. They're all over YouTube, and just let your mind go. Just start releasing the different parts of your mind and just follow the instructions. I was led through a meditation by Tom Ferry, 2013, did it in front of 3,500 people. And he said, pick yourself up. He did this whole verbiage thing, then put yourself in 10 years and see your future self and ask yourself a future question. And so I did that. I asked myself a future question. I asked, do I make it? And my future self, I can tell you where I was, what I was wearing, the environment. I mean, everything about me, the house. I have a big ass fucking yacht out in back, by the way. That thing's sick. All y'all in 10 years want to go for a boat ride, just hit me up. But I saw myself. I was wearing bright socks. I was wearing a sports coat, my jeans, barefoot in my house. I have a smoking hot wife. She's dark haired, by the way. But I talked to myself and I said, what do they call me? And they say they call you the coach of coaches. I have no idea what that means. I didn't expect that. And I said, well, what do I have to do to make it? And I don't use this verbiage, this next part. And my future self said, stay the course. And I'm like, stay the course. I've never said that before in my life. Then as I ascended out of that, my future reality, I cannot tell you, I was pouring tears down my face in a room full of 3,500 people. I mean, it is incredible. If you allow yourself to just clear your mind and just be, you will surprise yourself on what's going to come out of it, because between our ears is a very messy place, and you've got to clean it out like a disposal, man. You got to get that shit out.
And then what you do, how much time does it take? Like, is it the first thing you do in the morning? How long does it take? I'm just curious.
15 to 30 minutes, depending on what you want to do. I mean, if you really want to go for it, you can do an hour meditations. Just sit there and be quiet and just chill. If you got 10 minutes, do it for 10 minutes, man. But just check it out. I'll send you some links. I'll put some links in here for some meditations that I've used and that I've really liked. And then you guys can give them a run and see what you think.
I like the stuff that Mark Devine does too. The stuff that's more SEAL and military inspired. That stuff's pretty good because it's Aaron. You're thinking of like clearing the mind and like, how do I just not sit there and not think of something? And that is a form of meditation, but there's also active meditation where you're meditating on something specific. You're going through a routine, you're counting your breaths, you're doing whatever. Like, it's more engaging. That's probably the meditation that you'd be more apt to pick up.
My life is a shit show right now. You know, I mean, it's a shit
So there was something.
Well, Matt, talk about your breathing.
Have you ever read, Aaron? Have you read The Code of the Extraordinary Mind? I know maybe Andy recommended it or whatever.
Put it this way: I barely have time to go to the bathroom right now between everything going on in my life.
First of all, that's the best book. Well, we'll cover that another time anyway.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Believe me, that's not an excuse for not reading.
No, I mean the best thing I could do is pop an audiobook on in the morning. Yeah. I mean, I'm going nonstop between the 3 kids and stuff going on with my father-in-law. I mean, I got like 9 people living in my house right now. It's insane. And that's why I look at what you're doing as something I need to do, because this right here, like, you know how they say your rubber band expands. Mine's about to snap. You know what I mean? So
then you have got to get up 10, 15 minutes early. You have to make the time, Aaron, because this stuff will center you. It will bring you back down to earth. It will release the tension on that rubber band. I know what it feels like. I mean, if you want to start doing releasing of negative energy that quickly in a public setting without having to take any time, it's called the Sedona Method. Here it is. You ask yourself 3 simple questions and you come to one mindset. So let's say you lost a deal or someone yelled at you and you're going to get mad about it. Okay. Allow yourself to feel the feeling of anger. Just be okay with the feeling of anger. Then you ask yourself this: could I release it? Now, if you say no, or if you say yes, you're still going to release a certain amount of that energy. Then you say, would I release it? That's asking yourself permission to release it. And then you ask yourself a really simple question: when? And there you go. Every time you do it, you will release a certain amount of that negative energy out of your system. And it doesn't matter if you say yes or no. Just don't vacillate between a yes or no, like, oh, maybe, well, kind of, I couldn't, well, maybe I could. No. Yes or no. Okay. That's a distinguishing difference. You can do it in public very quickly. So your wife snaps at you. You're like, oh, anger sharks. Could I release it? Yes. Would I release it? Of course. When? Now. Okay. Energy gone. Let's move forward. That's how you can handle this stuff instantaneously. And I have felt tens of thousands of pounds roll off me when I've done that with my past. I had a lot of baggage I was carrying around, man. I felt like a bellboy, just luggage everywhere.
That's good though, man. I'm going to use that because I go through that right now between everything going on. I got to tell you, I feel that way 10 times a day. And I thank you. Dude, you have no. It's crazy. So that's actually a good idea. I like that. Thank you.
It is my pleasure.
And Walter commented, well, I've been doing this meditation thing all wrong. I hired 200 monks to sing chamber choir in the background. Walter, maybe a little excessive, but I like where your head's at. So Andy Shear agrees. The Code of the Extraordinary Mind is a great book. So let me give you the one of the main takeaways I took from that book that really stuck out to me. He asked a very interesting question, which is, let's say you go and you ride public transportation right now. Mm-hmm. Think about it. The person to your left and to your right, what do they smell like?
Ugh.
You don't even think about it like that. We don't, in public right now, you don't smell the person next to you for the most part.
If you're
compare that to, all right, fine. 100 years ago, you could smell that person next to you, right? Because our hygiene has changed, right? So now we have this whole routine of things that we do to our physical bodies to get them ready for the day, right? We shower, we shave, we do deodorant, we do cologne, we have like shaving balms, we got like toner, we got all kinds of stuff. But anyway, not for us. I'm just saying that stuff exists. I'm just saying it's out there. I've seen it. But we have very simple routines. They take us 15 to 30 minutes in the morning. And 100 years ago, that stuff didn't exist, right? So his point of that was that he believes that we are on kind of a spiritual or personal kind of hygiene transformation where we're coming to this awareness that essentially the way that we behave emotionally and like our emotional states and the feelings and stuff is very much like our physical bodies were 100 years ago. We don't take care of them. We don't deal with them. We don't have any routines for dealing with them in the morning to get them ready for the day. And so we go throughout our day just riding this wave of whatever kind of throws us around. Napoleon Hill calls it drifting.
Yeah.
Right. So we drift and we're just thrown about by the events of the day. They bring up feelings. We don't deal with them. We allow our emotions to kind of dictate what happens to us throughout the day. His point is that we are starting to develop the awareness that, hey, maybe we should have morning hygiene for our emotions and our spiritual selves, just like we do for our physical selves, which I thought was an amazing point. So, I mean, we make time for things like brushing our teeth. We wouldn't dream of going out in public without putting on a stick of deodorant. It will eventually, or we can't. So we can make time for stuff. 100 years ago, that time did not exist, right? The time to brush your teeth did not exist. We didn't pay attention to it. It wasn't valued enough. But his point is that we're starting to develop that awareness, and we need to start building those routines because it is just as important. I mean, Aaron, you've got 3 businesses, a wife, and 3 kids. Like, that's a lot. Like, you can't just get up and start working, you know, just like you can't run out the door without taking a shower and putting on some clean clothes.
No, that's right. And like I said, that's what I'm noticing right now in my life. I see it all going, and I don't like where it's going. And that's when it comes down to when I talk about lead generation. It's the same thing when you talk about your mindset. You notice when you start going into places, you're like, whoa, 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 I don't like this. Mm-hmm. And that's being mindful enough to know that you need to change. And that's what I'm working on. So it's like, it's amazing how when you realize that stuff, you start hearing stuff like this coming from different places. So.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's what I'm talking about. You know, As a Man Thinketh, the book that I'm diving into right now. It kicked me right in the you know where, and I just started thinking, because the funny thing is that my business this year has started off slow, and I've been meditating on is business is slow, business is slow, business is slow, business is slow. Guess what? It fucking showed up as slow. Now, I changed my mindset yesterday morning. I'm like, this is bullshit, man. Enough of this negative thinking. I started thinking of positive things, how blessed I am with all the leads that I have. And, you know, I started putting out better energy. 2-year-old leads are coming to fruition because I started looking for them. If you look for a red car, you're going to find a red car. If you look for a green car, you're going to find a green car. If you look for, no business, you're going to find no business. If you look for extraordinary explosion in your business, you're going to find an extraordinary explosion of business. You know, you're going to get what you focus on at all times.
Well, and I think one of my favorite quotes, it's actually on my screensaver. It's called "Being able to sacrifice at any moment who you are for what you will become." Because what happens is people live in 3 different places. You live in the past, which in my opinion is probably the worst place to live. You live in the future, yet it's very hard to live in the present. So the thing is, it's finding that happy median between the present and the future and realizing you're not where you want to be right now, but everything you're doing is to where you want to go. And 5 years down the road, you're going to be in that same place, and it never stops, and it never stops, and it never stops, because the moment you stop growing is the moment you stop living. And that's what I love so much, is that I said again, it's to sacrifice who you are for what you will become. Just love that quote.
So I have a much longer quote that I think it is possibly my
time for a longer quote.
Dush. I'm going to read it.
Sorry, had to throw that out there.
We don't have time for you, Greg. But this is probably my humble opinion, the most beautiful and most prophetic words you can ever read to yourself. And really, when you start understanding this and really pulling this down more, you'll understand the power of it. So our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And that speaks to just going for the gold every single day, because when people see you playing at the top of your game, it gives them permission to play at the top of their game on all parts of life. And so I just love reading that every single day, and I've listened to it about 1 billion times on different, YouTube videos, and it inspires me every single time to just live at a bigger level.
3 favors, if you wouldn't mind. That book you were telling me about that I can't remember the name because I have I have no memory. Can you not the one you talked about, the one you and Andy talked about, the code or whatever? I would like a copy of that quote that you just said. And then that thing that you said about the 3 things when you're angry about stuff, if you could get those to me somehow, I would greatly appreciate it.
Could I release it? Would I release it? And when? Sure.
I will I will forget it right now. So I'd like, would you mind or at least posting it somewhere, maybe on the group or something?
I'll post it in the notes here.
Yeah, or in the group. I mean, if you can post it in the group, that'd be great. Then everybody else can share it too. Because I think that would be great. Even if you just did a quick Facebook Live into the group sharing that. I mean, I think that's mega powerful. So
I'll do a live out on a blue jeans and a just what we're doing here. I'll do a video on that maybe later today.
Thank you.
Oh, Matt, we got 5 minutes till bingo, but I think this is some good shit today. We kind of took a hard left on a couple of different places, but
well, can I share one thing that's been on my mind lately?
Yes.
And talking to especially people in the coaching consulting world who are hitting kind of a limit on their income, and I think this applies to all of us. But it's not just about how many people you personally serve. If you really want to make money, and if you want to make big money in this world, I'm realizing that it comes down to either you can go down two paths. You can go down the path of developing and maxing out your own personal skills, right? So you're leveraging your skills, leveraging yourself, or you can go down the path of leadership, which is leveraging other people. And it's developing yourself into the kind of person that keeps growing and keeps expanding into an A player at every level to the point where you attract A players. Mm-hmm. And what I think that does for you is if you look at the people that really make money, it isn't just that they have some specialized skill. It's that they're great leaders and they attract other leaders and they're able to let those people run with it. And the thing that really drove the point home, going back to the Code of the Extraordinary Mind, was he told that story about Richard Branson. Like all these people are kind of sitting around in a dinner at Necker Island. They're kind of trying to like steer the conversation towards business and all this stuff. And finally, he just gets up. He pulls the author's wife up on the table and just slow dances with her right in front. It just breaks the tension, breaks the business conversation, and just dances, like does something completely different, like breaks the pattern, right? And so he asked him later, he's like, how do you keep all this stuff in your head? Like you've taken 8 different businesses in 8 different industries to $1 billion. He says, dude, I hire great people and then I let them do their thing. Mm-hmm. That is the secret. So that's what I'm thinking about lately and what I'm trying to implement in my business. And Aaron, you're going through this thing right now where up until this point, it's all been about Aaron, let's get better, let's get more skills, deeper skills, let's get better at what I do. We're all having to make that shift where if we really want to make more money and get to the next level, we have to be able to get better at leading and getting things done through other people. That's a very, very different skill set.
Well, I think the thing is where people, and I failed. I mean, I had a team of 7 people at that time when I should have never done it. And there's a big difference between managing and leading people. Yeah. Leadership is a skill that takes years to, to really master. And that's the people that separates the good from the great is the leader. And that's what I'm working on is becoming a leader, because I will agree with you 100%. When you're ready, for example, Priscilla, my operations manager, I'm like, I need to do this. I need to become intentional about leading. And the people just suddenly appear and then it's like, for example, from running the Facebook group, I'm looking for a buyer specialist. People are now coming to the office saying, I want to be here because of him. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. It's because evidently I'm making a role and I'm leading these people in some way, shape, or form. And you're 100% right. It's easy to be a manager. It is difficult to be a leader. Yeah. And I think one of the key successes of a leader, one of the indicators of a leader is that the retention of the people that you bring on. Because who is saying this? I can't remember who said it. It's that the true leaders, people don't leave them. They just grow with you. Mm-hmm. And that is when you have a leader. And that's my intention. And by the way, I thank you for repeating the book again. I just ordered it on Audible.
Good.
Actually, Aaron, I did the same thing. I was sitting right there.
And it's not. I have one credit.
If you ever wonder why the guys aren't paying attention on the show, is because they're ordering books, and maybe you should take a cue and do the same thing. All right, guys. Let's. What do you say we take this one home? Put a nice little bow on this one. This was an awesome episode.
Yeah, Matt. Where can they find us? What should they do?
Well, they should go drop down into a deep dark hole, and then they will find us. No. We hide down there. We hide from the world. All right. So on Facebook, guys, look for Gregg McDaniel in Danville, Walnut Creek. Follow him on Facebook. Somebody commented that they sent you a friend request. That is what goes into the deep dark hole. It goes into Zuckerberg's back pocket and never to be seen or heard from again. Follow Gregg on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. I'm easier to find. I'm just pursuing results. Find me there. We're also both on Instagram. Gregg, you are McDaniel Callahan.realestate. I am also pursuing results. Same way to find me. Aaron, the best way to connect with you you is to join the lead gen scripts and objections group, which we talk about all the time on the show. And why should they join that, Aaron? Why? Why should they join it?
Awesome.
But why is it awesome?
It is awesome because we have amazing content. There are tons of groups on Facebook that are there to sell you stuff, that are there to just to ask what the best CRM is. We actually bring value. We bring people to the group. Gregg circle prospects on a regular basis. Matt comes up with cool stuff live. I do Expired. We have Amy B, who we talk about. Basically what we do is we bring actual lead generation tactics live, and we show you how to build your business because it's what we do. It's what we do, and we're just there to help. I mean, our goal is to help people grow their business, and that's what we do.
Yep.
And
with
so
a beautiful face.
So, question of what's the book? It's the code. What is it? The Code of the Extraordinary Mind is the book. The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. So go get it, read it.
I brought the wrong book.
Are you shitting me?
I bought the Da Vinci Code.
Get the fuck out of here. No, you
I'm
didn't.
just kidding. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
my God.
All right, guys. Well, with that said, thank you so much, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube, depending on whether you want the video or audio versions. Coming up on Monday, Frank Klesitz from Viral Marketing. We talk about it all the time on the show. Gregg is a client. That's how I met Gregg to begin with. We're coming full circle. Frank is going to share how to get more leads and more listings, especially from your database, by using video to build real relationships with homeowners. So forget about just trying to convert all of your crappy buyer leads. That is it's not a fool's endeavor, but man, you better be committed and you better make your phone calls within 5 minutes. Otherwise, don't even bother. So the real game is relationships with homeowners and making sure that when they decide to list, that you are the natural choice. Getting back to basics, but using technology in a way that leverages your effort, your time, and your energy to build more deeper relationships with more people, so that when they come up, you are the one that's top of mind. So we're going to talk about that on Monday. So guys, until then, everyone have a great weekend. If you're listening to this after the fact, I'm sorry. If it's Monday for you and it's the start of your work week and we're talking about how glorious our weekend is going to be, I'm very, very sorry for you. But hopefully you're building a life of freedom, because that's what the show is all about.
Yeah, guys. Matt and I truly love you. Aaron loves you guys. We do the show for you and because of you. So spread the word, guys. Help us help you and more people like you. But until next episode, guys, peace out, ninjas. We gone.